Hello, welcome to Psalm Blog. Trapped in lockdown. What was the most used new word of 2020? If you guessed lockdown, you're right. The Collins Online Dictionary registered over 250,000 uses of the word compared to just 4,000 the previous year. It's a word that speaks of restrictions, limitations, rules, loss of freedom. When the pandemic started a year ago, being in lockdown probably gave us pictures of being trapped aboard a cruise ship. It was inconvenient, but with a kind of exotic twist. Now being trapped in lockdown means it's much more mundane. It means we're trapped at home. And for some people, that means living just within four walls, the four walls of a small flat, while trying to work, look after children, and maybe be their teacher at the same time. The survey found that stress went up in lockdown most among couples, perhaps because they were locked in together. And it isn't just places that we can be trapped in. People can be trapped in poverty, in a job they hate, or within themselves by mental illness, by fear or depression. Psalm 31 is a psalm about a man in a trap. The writer David prays to God, "Free me from the trap that is set for me, for you are my refuge." His experience of being trapped affects his whole life, affects his mind. My life is consumed by anguish. His body, my strength fails because of my affliction. His relationships. I am the utter contempt of my neighbours, he says, and even his self-image. I've become like broken pottery. We're trapped when the circumstances of our lives seem so miserable and so difficult, we find it impossible to imagine a future without them, or even imagine any future at all. How do we cope? How do we escape? The writer Stephen Covey said this: "I'm not a product of my circumstances, I'm a product of my decisions." How we feel and think about our situation can make a difference. It's a nice thought, and sometimes my circumstances are a result of my bad decisions. Sometimes, however, we feel trapped because the circumstances are so big and so overwhelming that actually I cannot do anything about the situation. And in our lockdown situation, however positive my decisions are, it's not going to make coronavirus disappear. However, another way, the writer of this psalm finds hope not inside himself, but outside himself, in God as revealed in the Bible, a God who is all powerful and all goodness. And so the psalm writer David writes, "Praise be to the Lord, for he showed me the wonders of his love. When I was in a city under siege, in my alarm I said, I'm cut off from your sight. Yet you heard my cry for mercy when I called to you for help." There is a Greek fable which tells the story of a lion who spares a mouse. Later, the same lion is trapped by a net. And this time, it's the mouse who frees the lion by chewing through the ropes of the net. God frees us from trapped circumstances that feel like that. But with him, in the story, the roles are reversed. Here, it's the lion that liberates the mouse. If you hope in yourself and your decisions, your willpower, or your imagination, your source of hope is too small. But God is a God who can set us free from any constricting net of circumstances, however tight that net may be.